Hey everybody, Andrew Jordan here. I thought it would be fun to introduce a new series where I read through the Quran. I've never read the Quran in its entirety, and I wanted to always do that, so I thought I would do a live video where I'm reading through the Quran and thinking through it as I read through the text. I understand that the Quran is mostly meant to be an oral text, something that is recited, and I believe that that's what the Arabic word means. So I understand that it's not meant to be read in the way that Western people read books. So I'll keep that in mind as I read it. So today I'm going to read the first two chapters or surahs of the Quran. The first one is Al Fatiha. I believe I'm pronouncing that somewhat close to correct. Um, and so I have here a translation and commentary into English. I don't speak Arabic or read Arabic, so I will acknowledge that up front. And it's from this website here. I don't know the quality of the commentary or translation, but I'm going to just stick to this one. So this is the first surah, and the Quran is laid out differently than the Bible and than the Christian Bible and the Hebrew Bible. It doesn't contain narrative, from what I understand. I'll see as I read through how accurate that is. Um, and so this commentary is going to give us a bit of information about the opening surah of the Quran, which is from the Meccan period, I believe is what it says here, and it's part of the Muslim prayers, which is important to know that it has a liturgical quality to it. So we should expect some poetry, perhaps, in the reading. I'm going to just scroll down and go to the text itself. And maybe we'll come back to the commentary a little later. So it says, "In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful." And this sounds reminds me of opening of different books of the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, where you're kind of setting the stage for what the topic is. And so here we have the commentary, and I don't think there's anything really that interesting here. I know merciful is a common name for God in Judaism. The Aramaic word Rahmanah is used in the Selihot liturgy, which is from the period of Elul, which is the month of repentance in Judaism before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So there's some definitely common heritage there. And obviously, the Quran kind of is influenced by the Hebrew Bible and the Gospels. And I believe, accepts them as scripture in a certain form, although neither text is what the original tradition assumes it to be. The Muslims, I believe that these texts were corrupted, and I don't know if they believe that they have the restored text. The next verse says, "All praise belongs to Allah, Lord of the worlds." Again, not much of interest here. Lord of the worlds. That's an interesting phrase. That's probably referring to like the stars and the heavenly bodies and things like that. I'll see if I can find where it mentions that in the commentary. Um, yeah, all kinds of created beings. So it's kind of a catch-all term. Nothing really out of the ordinary there to note in the commentary. The gracious, the merciful. So you can see this is kind of setting the stage for what the topic is. It's also expressing some theology, gracious, merciful, Lord of worlds, etc., setting the stage for what Muslims believe to be God to be like. Thee alone do we worship, and thee alone do we implore for help. Okay. That reminds me of the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Also, statements by Paul in the New Testament, Jesus. So you can see this being influenced by that common tradition. And also, you can hear the liturgical quality of this. I don't know exactly in what capacity it's used in Muslim prayer, but it's definitely, you could see it having that quality to it. Guide us in the right path. The word path is interesting here. I'll look in the commentary while I kind of talk about it. But the language of path or walking is how Judaism refers to the law, halacha, which means it comes from the root word for walking. And I believe the imagery is also found in the New Testament. So it says that it's a path is even and can be trodden without difficulty. So it doesn't really add that much, but it's interesting that the language is similar. And I believe as I read through the Quran, I'm going to see that a lot, that there's common imagery, common metaphors, that kind of thing. The path of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy blessings, those who have not incurred thy displeasure, and those who have not gone astray. So this is, I guess, showing that whoever follows the path of the people who are getting the blessings, and those who don't follow the path wouldn't get the blessings. And the next verse is here. I believe there's one more. No, okay, that's the end. So I knew the first surah was kind of short and just it's kind of a mission statement more or less for the Quran. So I wanted to spend more time on this one. So and we might not actually not even finish this one because it does say it's the longest chapter in the Quran, and it's known as Al Baqarah. I'm not sure where the accent is on in the Arabic, but in Hebrew it would be Al Baqarah. Um, so this surah is given the name because of the word Baqarah, cow, which is an important. It's an incident in the life of the Jewish nation, which is referring to the golden calf, obviously the representation of God in the wilderness after the exodus from Egypt. If I believe that's what it is, we'll see if that's just what I'm thinking of when I hear it. The Holy Prophet is reported to have once said, "Everything in his peak, and the peak of the Quran is Al Baqarah." And this surah, there is one verse which is the most eminent among the verses of the Quran, and that is Ayatul Kursi. So we'll see that verse. All right. So this is revealed at Medina. So this is a later revelation, from what I understand. Um, and so this is an important chapter. So we'll keep that in mind. And this commentary is very thorough, I must say. It's a bit too much for me at times, so I'm going to just skip ahead and kind of start reading the text itself. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Most Merciful. Okay, interesting. That must be the standard way that the chapters begin. Alif Lam Mim. So these are the letters. I know this is Aleph. This is probably Lam, and Mim is this one here. So this is an acronym. This is used a lot in the Talmud. I don't know what it stands for, but let's see. So they're known as Al Muqatta'at, letters used and pronounced separately. Okay. They occur in 28 surahs and are made of a maximum of 5 letters of the Arabic alphabet. Okay, interesting. And what does it stand for when we see these things? Um, okay, so they have something like gematria. Each letter has a numerical value. That's also common in Hebrew. Okay. All right. I don't think that it's established what this actually means. So if you are a Quranic expert and you know what opinions of that are, you can comment below. This is a perfect book. There is no doubt in it. It is a guidance for the righteous. Okay, it's a perfect book. All right. So this is probably reflecting Islamic belief that the Torah and the Injil, the Gospel, are imperfect books. Um, However, my contention when reading the Quran is, if you are a tradition based off previous revelations that have failed, how am I guaranteed that this one is correct? Um, that's my first thought. If it's so easy to mess up the revelation, then this one is also suspect in my mind. But that's just me. Um, I'm going to go down a little more here. I'll probably just do a few verses from this. I must say the commentary is very extensive. I mean, if I had more time, I would go through this and look at it verse by verse a little more in depth. I'm assuming here that it's giving us some parallel passages, which might be interesting to look up. Who believe in the unseen and observe prayer and spend out of what we have provided for them. Okay, so the righteous are the people who believe in the unseen, probably referring to God, and observe prayer. So I know Islam has the 5 times of prayer that are required. So the prophets of God, they believe, are Adam, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Krishna. Interesting. I didn't know about Krishna being a prophet. Um, and so let's see if we can learn some more things about what they mean about the belief in the unseen things. I think in this unseen is derived from who has become screened or invisible. So this includes all objects of faith, God, The angels, the books, the prophets, and the last day are unseen. Okay. So this is basically a catch all phrase for everything that you need to believe to be a Muslim, which are these things, I'm assuming. Um, and the prophets. Observe, that's another key action word that comes from Judaism rather than Christianity. Also, the idea of having fixed times for prayer comes from Judaism. Um, so you can, it's upon reading it you can see the influences, and I know that at the time of the beginning of Islam, that there were Jewish tribes in Medina, and the area of Hijaz was a Jewish kingdom before the beginning of Islam, and also Christianity was quite popular. There were different sects of Christianity available or in existence in Arabia. um, so let's do maybe one more verse and then I'll stop this for now and we will pick up again next week with finishing up this one. And who believe in that which has been revealed to thee and that which has been revealed before thee, and they have firm faith in what is yet to come. Okay, so this is going back to you need to believe in what is revealed, presumably in the Quran. So a Muslim should believe in the truths which are hidden from his eyes and beyond his physical senses. So definitely a strong belief component which comes from Christianity, I would say. You can definitely see the synthesis that happened just from my observation. The idea of revelation is important to Judaism, revelation of the Torah. In Christianity, the revelation of Jesus. Um, so these are so far, I think from reading the Quran, I have seen the literary quality of it in the sense, not literary in the sense of writing, but in the sense of orality is what I meant to say. That it is an oral text, and I'm sure it sounds much better in Arabic, as they say, and it sounds much better probably being recited in the chanting tunes that go with it. But it's an interesting book so far. I look forward to reading through the entire Quran over the next however long it takes, and learning about the holy book of Islam. Thanks for joining me along the way, and I'll see you next time.